Hello everyone, and welcome to another look at some underappreciated games from the last generation. Today I'm having a look at Singularity. Singularity was quite an interesting little FPS. It was developed by Raven Software. It had this nice little gimmick. As you can see, we could rapidly age, and we could it was basically like a rewind button, and it was like a fast forward button where you could age an object, or you could repair the object, return it to its former glory. It's pretty nice. You used a little device called the TMD. That's what you're looking at right now. That's the time manipulation device. It was quite a different kind of shooter. It had a very Half-Life, Bioshock vibe to it. Now, I'm not saying it was as good as Half-Life or Bioshock, but it was quite criminally overlooked, I have to say. I mean, it was developed by Raven Software, who made some interesting games. Like they made some pretty interesting. They made a Quake 4, I believe, and they made some good games, I believe, on the original Xbox as well. But this game just got ignored completely by its publisher. I guess Activision didn't really care about a game that doesn't have Call of and Duty in the title. So I really don't know why they didn't promote this. I mean, it kind of came out and kind of just flew under everyone's radar. I mean, if you look at games like Bioshock, for example, it isn't as good. That's one of the things, but it does evoke that kind of vibe, and I think because of that, it's worth you checking out, I would say. It's a very sort of puzzle based. It involves using your TMD, which you can see right there. That's again the time manipulation device. We can use that. We can use it to pick things up, much like Half-Life 2's gravity gun. But it did have some other functions. We could, of course, de-age things. We could also use it on enemies. We could rapidly age them until they turn to dust. So you can see here, it's quite a puzzle-centric game. So we're gonna de-age that, put it under the door, and then bring it back to its former glory, and we get through the door. So it's pretty interesting. It wasn't a by-the-numbers FPS like you see with modern generic Shooter X. You know, this was one of those interesting games, and I'm kind of surprised that I mean, a lot of people talk about games like Bioshock being really innovative in the genre, and Half-Life 2, and also games like Dishonored that did really well and were a little different. I don't know, maybe Activision really just didn't have any faith in this game, which is a shame, because it's a pretty awesome game at its heart. The shooting mechanics were not solid, but not spectacular, to be honest. But I really don't know, again, why this game didn't sell so well. You should really check it out. I recommend that you pick this up. I picked it up fairly cheap. I found it pre-owned. I don't think you'll find any new copies. Maybe you'll find some. Maybe Steam has some. I don't know. But this is the PS3 version that you're looking at right now. Decided to pick it up because it was £3 I paid for it in the UK. I mean, that's nothing really for a game, and for a game this good. We could also make these little stasis bubbles. I'm gonna call them stasis bubbles. Aye. Yeah, I mean, again, you could just pick up stuff like the gravity gun. There's always quite a, as you can see, we don't have regenerating health. That's one of the things we don't have. In it, we had to pick up health packs. Again, kind of like Half-Life 2. But I don't really know what to do here. I'm just wandering around. What's this sign? Barisov has it wrong. Interesting. Oh, that was the thing. We could pull things out of phase. The game was set on... It was a little island called Katorga 12. where they discovered this new sort of material called E99, which allowed them to do things like manipulate time, and that's what we're doing here. You got these little strand things that act like tripwires. So yeah, the E99, you could use E99 to power up your weapons, you could power up your character. It was used kind of as the game's currency. But it really had a great kind of vibe to it. You arrive and the island is deserted, and you're always wondering what the hell went wrong. You wander through schools and things that are just abandoned, and abandoned buildings. You do get audio logs. A lot of games these days are very fond of their audio logs. They're quite good for telling the story. They're quite a nice little storytelling mechanism. We've got these little strands that we've got to shoot off here. But yeah, I mean, you should definitely check this game out. It did have multiplayer in it, I remember, but it was kind of... I tried playing multiplayer in it, but there was no one around, no one on, at least on the PS3 version. I don't know about other versions. It was released PC, I think it was released as well, and Xbox 360 also was released on. You can check it out there. I'm just playing the PS3 one because that's the one I found lying around. You can see we get the E99 tech, which again we used to do upgrades, and again you can see here we just rewind that because it's a broken object, and we rewind it back to its former glory. It did have a great atmosphere. It was a nice little ruined, what the hell is that thing? I love the kind of ruined sort of, well, this is a sub-pen we're in, but it's kind of like a ruined sort of town you started out in, where the researchers would live on Katorga 12. And you get to see it, we'll see in a second. We get these little interactive flashbacks where the you can see we've gone back in time to its former glory. We're back in 1955. I don't know what year we're in right now, so this is Katorga 12 back in the past. Oh, we can control that bullet. We can hit him. Oh, hit the... Oh. This guy. Take our big minigun. You can see the shooting was... It was okay. There's nothing that special. Oh. Managed to freeze myself. We could use our TMD device. You can see we'll put this guy in a little stasis bubble. There he is. We can just stun him for a few seconds and shoot him. I think he's dead. Yeah, he is dead. He's just stunned for a few seconds. We had to use health kits, of course. Which gave it a really old school feel. This came out in 2010. It came out, I think, round about the same time actually as I think it was Call of Duty Black Ops. And guess what game Activision promoted? You can see here we're using the TMD just to rapidly age that guy. You can see we've turned him into bones. Oh, hit that barrel there. Oh crap. Oh, grenade. Yeah, you really should check this out. It was kind of, it was quite unique at the time. I mean, the shooting is it's competent, is what you would say. But, again, it was just so overlooked, this game. I think we're going back to the ruined version in the future. There we go. You can see the dramatic changes that have occurred just through time. I don't know when it's set actually, to be honest, because this is an old save I was playing. I originally bought this game and then I don't think I ever finished it, to be honest, which is a shame too, because it seems like a very interesting game.
So the freighter's at the bottom of the harbour. What's the plan now?
Simple. Renko can use the TMD
So we're going to use the TMD to power this thing up and bring this ship back. That's what we have to do in this little area. I don't know how far along this is, to be honest. So I don't know, do we get down there? Do we go here? A barrel. You can see it was set in Russia. You can see with all the Soviet stuff that you can see. I don't know if the game's still set in the 1950s or we're going to a much later date. But the TMD thing, it was the E99 that they used to manipulate time. But again, this is just a little let's play, a little playthrough. I'm gonna do more of these games that are, I feel, kind of went underappreciated in the last generation. So to get to this point here, we had to pass through this hole that appeared here. Don't know what was caused, but it wasn't there in 1955. So there is a kind of a little bit of a Back to the Future vibe to it. I guess a little bit of time travel. Where are we? Oh, down here. There we go. Don't trust me. I don't trust you. We get these blueprints that you pick up. The blueprints allow us to use the E99 to construct different gear, basically. We can upgrade our guns. I think we can buy new guns. Oh, better try and avoid that. I don't think I can shoot anything. Oh, there we go. We are up. I wonder if we can stasis bubble. Will do anything. The stasis bubble was pretty handy. It was handy if you were surrounded by guys and you just wanted to get away. You could just stun them all. That's weapon tech, I guess. That's for upgrading your weapons. So we're underneath the thing. We've got to plug that glass thing in, I think. How do we get the... Yeah, that thing... Do we take that thing out of there and plug it in there? See, it was very puzzle focused as well. You had to use your time manipulation device, again, to solve various puzzles. A lot of them were... kind of physics-based puzzles. You had your kind of momentum-based ones. You had ones where you had to freeze objects. It was kind of like Dead Space in that way. Remember, you could do stuff. So let's try stasis bubbling this. No, we don't stasis bubble this. Wonder what we do. Where are we going? Don't shoot it. That's for sure. If in doubt, shoot the thing. It is a shooter after all. Oh, there's a little use button there. Where was that use button? Ah, the use button. Oh, we used it. Ah, right, it was the pipe thing. So we'll get our... bring that into existence, and then we will plug it in. Oh. And plug it in. There we go. That's what we do. Figure it out in the end. See, it's not just go forward. Follow, follow, kill, 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 follow, 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 which was Call of Duty, really. Just follow this guy, kill these bunch of guys, walk forward, follow this guy, kill these bunch of guys. Quite an interesting game. Oh, we're raising this ship up, and we are returning it. It was kind of like Red Faction Armageddon with the little restore button that you had. There we go, we brought it back to its former glory. Whee! It's the Pearl on Port Katorga. So yeah, the little island was called Katorga 12. It was set. This game was set in Russia. I don't know if you were sent to recover the E99 or what. I don't know the whole story. It's been a few years since I've actually played the whole game. I just picked up where my save left off, which just happened to be here. It was after a big boss fight. It's a massive Leviathan type thing. Got the Russian writing. Look at the rear cargo bay. figure out where to go now. How do we get to the ship? Do we run this way? Alright, so I've made it to the ship here, and oh, that's what we do, we just age that. And here we go on aboard this ship. So this was... Oh, so the ship's actually rapidly aging. Uh-oh. So yeah, we fought these little creatures as well. I'm going to show you a few of them in a second. We showed you some combat with some guys. There's a lot of E99 tech. Oh, he's going to throw a barrel at me. Oh, did I get hit? I think I just got it in time. So yeah, I mean, we could rapidly age these guys as well. Turn them to dust. We couldn't do it infinitely, so we had to shoot things occasionally. But it's a pretty good shooter, actually. So if you're a fan of BioShock, if you're a fan of Half-Life, you owe it to yourself to at least check this game out. You know, pass the time if you're waiting for Half-Life 3. So that is all for this little look at Singularity. Thank you for joining me, and you should definitely check this one out. The next time, I am going to be looking at... Let's see, what are we going to look at next? Next we're going to look at another game set in Russia. We're going to look at Metro 2033. Should be interesting, from the late THQ. And so thank you for joining me for this little look at Singularity, and goodbye.